Okay, so NutriPlus and ManiPlus have to do with malnutrition, and so I don't want to jump too far ahead and assume people understand the difference between hunger, or chronic malnutrition, or starvation, because there was a time not too long ago I probably couldn't have given an accurate difference between some of those things. So maybe you could start with that and just kind of paint the picture of all that means for a bunch of people living in the United States who probably don't have to think too much about those things.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And one thing, just to underline what you just said, we take for granted that we get nutrition. It's very few people in the states really go hungry in the way that we see in parts of the developing world. And so one thing is just for us all to step back and realize how fortunate we are. Just to have the things that we take for granted. So malnutrition, it's a good question because there are different kinds of malnutrition. And I think of when most of us first think of malnutrition, at least those of us of a certain age, actually probably nobody on this webinar, think of the ads from a while back of the distended bellies of babies, and kids really on the verge of starving to death. And that's what we call in the field acute malnutrition. So if a child is in danger of actually dying in the short term or medium term because of lack of nutrition, they have acute malnutrition. What we find in Guatemala and in most of Latin America and in many parts of the world is chronic malnutrition. So it's not at that level where the kids are about to die, but it's not getting enough macronutrients, which are calories, fat, and things like that, and micronutrients, the vitamins and minerals. And so their bodies don't get what they need, and that's chronic malnutrition. And so, and Guatemala's problem is the chronic malnutrition.